Okay, we have a Massey Ferguson Model 265 tractor that has had a chronic long-term issue with the mount of the drawbar. The drawbar is attached to the tractor through this whole assembly here, and it has been chronically loose. I have to keep tightening it back up, and the entire assembly here is attached to the tractor by 4 bolts like this up underneath this rear end casting here. Right there, you can see 2 of them here, and the other one here, and that one is this one. Last one is broken off, and I couldn't get it out, so I left it. And there was evidence when I got into this. You take this bolt out and all the hydraulic fluid drains out of the thing, because there's evidence that this was broken off before from a previous repair, and someone had drilled up through it to get the busted stud out of there, and had drilled right through the case into the thing. So this was a long-term thing that was constantly a problem. So the remedy I came up with was I did get new bolts, and I put 3 of the new bolts in, got that all secured. Then I also came up with a reinforcement assembly here, which I'm going to show you here. This is the old bolt. You can see where the threads were worn off from the banging side to side. And this whole assembly, all of the pulling load, all the downward tongue load, all the side to side and forward to back bashing, all has to be taken up by these 4 little bolts, and there just isn't enough there to withstand that over time. So what I did was I went to my local steel supplier, and I got myself a piece of tube steel, which is this here. This is a 2-inch by 4-inch by 1/4-inch thick tube steel, and I think it was 28 inches long to go from side to side. And then also has these 2 little ears that come down each side where the 3-point arms are attached with this pin through it. And I took this pin to my steel supplier to get this dimension, this diameter, and I had to make a longer pin for each side with just a hole popped in the end to put a locking key in it. And then I had 4 plates made up. To get those size, when I sized it, I just took a piece of lumber, laid it across here, jacked it up tight, and then I made a little cardboard template of the size that I wanted this. I think these turned out to be 5 inches deep by 3 3/4 up. I made a little cardboard template, and then took my old pin, put it through the holes, and made a little impression on there of where exactly I wanted the hole punched in here. And I think this is 1 1/8 inches, and they do slide through here, but there's not a lot of play in there. It's a good tight fit in there, but you can't get them through. And the same thing here. It's a tight fit, but it does go together. And then when I got all my parts, I went over to took the whole tractor over to my welder, local weld shop, and he held this up with a jack, put these all in place, put the pins in, put these plates on there just loose, and then he welded it all up. And he suggested and did manufacture this little gusset on here to strengthen it, absorb some of that side to side forces. So the final product is that instead of everything hanging on these four and it being these four little bolts, we got something that goes across through these pins to this point that connects back up to the tractor. So you still have the original mounting is still there, except it's only 3 bolts, not 4. And I have this going across. And I'm just going to get some pictures here so you get kind of an idea of what it is. I went 2 inches deep this way because that's the same depth as this part of the assembly here. So that clearance is the same. And it did come together okay. And I just got this done, so the long-term performance of it is unknown yet, but I think it's going to be okay. And then the drawbar just goes right in here. And there's a pin in the front there that goes in. Now I'm going to get some pictures here. And I'm going to go around front. So you can kind of see all this all come together. Here's like that. So these are all welded in place, right as you see it here. Just put a jack holding this part up, these pins in here, and then it's welded in place. I don't think there's really any way to pre-assemble this and then put it on. It was all welded in place. So. There you go. Oh. And there it is. Under here. And this is just the end of the drawbar. A little pin goes through here and keeps it on. Okay, that's all I got. Hopefully that'll be helpful for someone.